If that 3-1 win against AC Milan in Italy wasn't enough reaction to the disappointing Nottingham Forest loss we suffered, then there's no doubt that this 3-0 victory over Bournemouth has brought things back on track. We're where we belong, guys, top of the league, well, until the Arsenal and City clash tomorrow. Now, going back to the game, facing Bournemouth under Iraola is never an easy feat. Not only have they been on an upwards trajectory since he took over last season, but so far this campaign, they have been the most efficient team when it came to pressing. But as we all know, the Reds thrived against pressing teams this season, and we only had issues when we faced Forest, a team that refused to engage in the press and rather park the bus. So how did the Reds devastate the best pressing team in the Premier League, finishing the game with 3 goals in the first 45 minutes? Well, hit the like and subscribe button and let's jump straight into our analysis. So as everybody probably knew before the game, Kelleher was starting in goal in place of Alisson, who suffered an injury. Which raises a question, is this why Liverpool went on to sign Mamardashvili in the last summer? Could it be that we're preparing for life after the Brazilian? Well, time will tell. For the backline, Klopp kept the usual players in Andy Robertson, who returned to the starting 11, with Virgil van Dijk, Ibrahim Konate and Trent Alexander-Arnold. The midfield trio remained consistent with Ryan Gravenberch, Dominic Szoboszlai and Alexis McAllister, while the front line had a surprising change with Darwin Núñez replacing Diogo Jota to play alongside Mohamed Salah and Luis Diaz. Similar to the AC Milan game, the Reds started slowly and looked out of rhythm for the first 5 to 10 minutes. For example, Ryan Gravenberch misplaced 2 passes in that period, one of which led to Bournemouth launching a quick attack and opening the scoring through Semenyo. Fortunately, he was offside and the goal was ruled out. But did this sloppiness continue? Absolutely not, because the Reds went on to shift gears and absolutely overwhelm the Cherries. By taking their time during the build-up phase, through the ball circulation, and taking more than 1 or 2 touches, Liverpool's backline players succeeded to bait Bournemouth's pressing line and whole block, which ultimately created needed space for our strikers to take advantage of. Take the first goal for example, slow build-up and players taking more than 1 touch to pull in the Cherries' press, and then Konate went to the direct ball for Luis Diaz, who we all know is more than lethal when facing a high defensive line. For the second goal, we saw a familiar pattern that we analysed in a dedicated video, the up, back and through pattern. Konate again, after taking more than 1 touch on the ball, launched the up pass towards Salah, who laid the back pass to Trent. Here, the through pattern was not a pass, and rather it was Trent carrying the ball into the space before providing Luis Diaz with the assist for the second goal. And guess what? The sequence leading up to the third goal was also initiated by Ibrahim Konate. Same scenario, guys. The Frenchman took his time on the ball before launching a direct ball towards Darwin, who by the way had a brilliant first half with his constant movement. The Uruguayan laid the ball perfectly to Salah before making the run into space. The rest, guys, we just cannot describe. In case you missed that goal, you just need to watch it because we could not give it enough credit. Darwin is chaotic, that's for sure, but that left-footed finish was out of this world. And while it might have came as a surprise for some to see him start over Jota, it made complete sense why Arne Slot opted for him to start the game. See, there aren't many players that are as devastating as Darwin Núñez when it comes to facing pressing sides with his high defensive lines. You can see how he pushed Bournemouth's back line with his run, giving Trent more space to carry the ball in for the second goal. And that headed pass and run into space for his own goal shows exactly how lethal he can be against these types of teams. Now we need to go back to Konate and give him more credit. Believe it or not, the Frenchman initiated all the 3 goal sequences, getting the assist for the first one and playing the line-breaking passes that launched the attacks for the 2 others. In this first half alone, he completed 30 forward passes out of 37. People talk about how physically dominant Konate is and how he's great at defending the channels, but his progressive passing ability is often overlooked, and if it wasn't that skill that mixed with his composure under pressure, the Reds would have never finished the first half with such a comfortable result. For the second half, it's safe to say that the Reds kept control of things, despite Bournemouth having some dangerous moments. However, it felt like Liverpool players did not go as direct as they did in the first half, and instead circulate the ball through short passes, with Ryan Gravenberch being the first to recover to progress the ball throughout the phases. Speaking of the 22-year-old, and despite the slow start, Once again, he's had one hell of a performance, winning 5 out of his 8 ground duels, completing 88% of his passes, all while making one key pass. Now make sure you hit that subscribe button because we've got a dedicated video for Gravenberch coming very soon. Now going back to the game, does slowing things down and dropping a bit deep mean that we were less dangerous than the first half? Absolutely not. Despite not scoring any goals, we still managed to accumulate 0.85 xg, just 0.16 xg less than the first half. However, it was our approach without the ball that caught our attention. Here you can see our structure in the opening minutes of the second period. See, if you've been following us for a while here at Panenka, you'd know that we'd often talked about how Feyenoord dropped to a 4-4-2 mid-block in certain cases, and that's exactly what the Reds did in this game. We were more than happy not to press high all of the time, and rather conserve our energy and spread it across the full 90 minutes, and it makes perfect sense if you think about it. There's no need to exhaust yourself and allow your opponent's space in behind by pressing high, especially with a comfortable 3-0 lead, so why does it? See, this is one of the biggest changes that Slot has brought to this Liverpool side. See, if you take last season's Liverpool and put it in the same 3-0 scenario, we would have still went more direct with risky passes, all while pressing the opponents high. Sure, it's an entertaining style of football, but sometimes it can make things unnecessarily complicated. Just recall that Spurs game in the closing stages of last campaign. But not only did Liverpool conserve their energy and adapted to the game state, but Arne Slot went on to introduce Curtis Jones instead of Dominik Szoboszlai, a substitution that was meant to control the game's tempo even more, which is exactly what happened. Jones slowed down the game when needed and accelerated the rhythm when he got the chance. We can safely say that his cameo was just flawless, completing 2 out of 2 take-ons and ending the game with 100% passing accuracy. We've said it before and we'll say it again. Curtis Jones is going to play a massive role under the guidance of Arne Slot. There's no doubt about it. His composure, athleticism, and especially his press resistance qualities are too valuable to ignore. As we said, Liverpool have managed to devastate the most efficient press in the league, and we have all the stats and numbers to prove how good the Cherries' pressing line is. So, if you want us to bring you a detailed video about the Reds' build-up phase so far this season, with a focus on how we obliterated Bournemouth's press, make sure to let us know in the comments below and we'll happily do it. Now we have the West Ham game in the EFL Cup to focus on, with Wolves in the Premier League coming shortly. It's a hectic schedule we're in right now, so Slot will need to know how to manage his squad and players not only to get the best possible results, but also to avoid suffering from injuries. So what are your thoughts on this win? Do you want a detailed video about our build-up and how we played through Bournemouth's press? Would you rotate the team against West Ham? Let us know your thoughts down there in the comment section below, and heck, while you're at it, let me know if you're happy in life. Take care guys, look after yourselves, peace.